was not understanding the full potential of AI. Once I started this entrepreneurship, I'm just looking at not from a tool perspective, but from the mindset perspective. AI generated the wireframes in 70 seconds, better than what I have done in 5 hours.
Welcome to the Forward Slash podcast, where we lean into the future of IT by inviting fellow thought leaders, innovators, and problem solvers to slash through its complexity. I am your host, James Carman, and today we're talking to Sharmeen Aqeel. Welcome to the Forward Slash.
Thank you for having me, James. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. Sharmeen is a veteran product designer with more than 13 years of experience and 7 years in design leadership. Her expertise spans human-centered design, service innovation, and rebuilding broken systems through empathy and technology. She is the founder of Lavora, a platform created to modernize the loan origination experience for healthcare clinics. After conducting nearly 100 interviews, including 47 clinics rejected for reasons unrelated to financial health, Sharmeen built Lavora to make financing simpler, clearer, and more human. She is also a passionate early adopter of AI, often describing AI not only as her co-pilot, but as her co-founder. That's great. I love that. I don't think I've ever met anyone named Sharmeen ever in my life. Have you ever met anyone else named Sharmeen?
Are you asking someone?
I'm asking you. Have you ever met anyone else named Sharmeen? That's a very unique name.
You know what? I know only one person as same as my name, and I'm so happy to see that she's the Oscar winner. So,
Really? Okay.
Yeah, apparently Pakistan, they won Oscar, and Sharmeen was the person, and she has exactly the same spell.
Exactly
like
the same
mine.
spelling and everything.
So proud to be her. She is making my name so famous. So.
But it'll be just you two. They'll be Googling for her and they'll find you, and then they'll find Lavora. Did I say that right? Lavora? Livora?
Livora, yeah, that's the way
Livora,
you say.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's great to have you here. We've done a prep call, and I really enjoyed speaking to you and learning more about what you have going on. The whole idea of human-centered design, I love hearing more about that. But you mentioned in your bio about those 100 interviews and the 47 cases. What were some of the most surprising or painful rejection stories that you uncovered as part of that process when you were figuring out what you were going to build?
You know, I remember one. There are always the breaking moments when you take decision and you say, you know what, let's do it. And there's one story I would love to share here is when I started my journey of understanding what's the problem going on between the finance world and the healthcare when they're seeking for finances. During one of my interviews, I came to know one growing business. She's running a clinic for last 3 years. And finally, at the end of the third year, she wanted to get funding from a bank. Until now, she had been bootstrapped. And the bank rejected because in her P&L statement, she got $1,700 of loss. Without looking at the story behind the loss, which was she started taking her own salary. She hired 2 more workers to help her out. And so on paper, it looks like, yeah, she had a loss, but in reality, it was a growing business. And so this is where I said, why do we still have the same old-fashioned applications, the same document? Why don't we look at the vision? Why don't we look at the history of the person? And so this is where I started working on the project Livora. So just I'm telling you a little bit more about how it works is that Livora, it's a platform where health clinic apply for the funding and then I connect with the lenders. And in this particular story, on one side where I found the bank rejected the application, on the other side, I found a few lenders who said that we are the one who's believing more on the vision and the person than the credit history. And this is where I started the whole process of how can I find those lenders who are more passionate about the business and the story rather than the P&L statement, revenue statement, etc.
That's great. So how did like that design thinking and that kind of empathy focused, human centered design type of an approach help you uncover what actually mattered to the lenders and the borrowers? How did that help you?
Yeah, so James, I must say here that we product designers, we are the front line of the innovation, because we start our process from empathy, understanding the problem, doing the user interviews. That's why the notion of the designer has been evolved. It used to be user-centered designer, and now it has been evolving toward a product designers, because we are putting the user centered values, design thinking into the product. So eventually we are designing the product. But here what I must say that my profession has been evolved from UX designer to a product designer leadership, and now a stakeholder designer. So what I mean in here is that it's not only the user, it's also my lenders, it's also the people who come to me for my advice, not my clients, not my users, but only for the advice. So this stakeholder approach is, I would say, my training of last 13 years being a designer, helping me to understand it and make it a better solution for them.
And so you found, as you were, doing these interviews and learning more about the problem space that you were where you were trying to help, that there was a lot of extra stuff, right? That people were doing and the things that weren't important, right? And so you were able to kind of streamline that. Can you talk about, you know, how did Lavora's approach streamline that process for these lenders and borrowers?
So when I was understanding those application process. So when I analyzed the first and the most lengthiest application process was around 20, what I would say 42-ish questions on it has to have this. And then I trimmed down into 20 questions, and then I went back to my lenders to see that if those questions would be good enough. I was quite sure that they're gonna say, no, it is just not enough. We need to know more about the clinic. But
Hmm.
I was pleasantly surprised that they said, you know what, it's still too much. If you give me those 12 questions, we are good to go. We are good to pre-approve. We are good to speak to the person and decide the next step. But let's do 12 questions. So the journey from 40 to 20 to 12 had been a bit challenging, because myself, I was learning the financial languages, what's important, what's not important. But what I learned here is, as we have been stuck in this traditional process of the same thing repeating again and again, and some in some domains today, people are in the comfort zone that it's hard to reassess if that's the best way to do that. And so yes, it took me a lot of time, but today streamlining the process of application from 40 to 12, I would say, is one of the things I'm so proud of today.
Oh my goodness, that's wild too. So you started off, and the general process was, we asked the borrowers that want to borrow some money 40 questions, right? We've got to supply 40 bits of information. As you were reading through it and learning more about it, you realized, yeah, really only these 20 seem important to me. And then when you actually spoke to the lenders, they said, no, really, we only really care about these 12. That's just blows me away. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but those are the opportunities, those are say, yes, that's the way. And this is where, as you started that, where is my design thinking skill? So one of the greatest thing that I learned in the design thinking is that understanding different parties. So, giving you an example, as a product designer, we used to put users, developers, and the product managers all in the same room to understand what is the best solution for our users. And so they were all brainstorming together. So that was a similar process where I did some initial assessment, having some interviews of what are the information easily available for our borrowers. And lastly, speaking to the lenders. So speaking with different parties, that's the process of design thinking that I also applied in this case.
And do you think that it was kind of, and a lot of businesses get caught up in this where it's like, well, that's just what we've always done, so that how did they get to 40? It's always 40, no matter what. Were they just kind of applying the same process and thinking that they would for any borrower across all domains? You mentioned kind of more of a domain specific look at things. Were they just kind of peanut butter spreading all those requirements? Okay, anybody who comes in and says they want money, fill out all these documents. Is that kind of what they were doing?
That's so true, because there are very few who are specialized in one vertical. I'm giving you an example of a restaurant versus a healthcare clinics. So the question that you're asking to the healthcare clinic might not be the same as the restaurant. So I'm giving you one particular example is whenever restaurant, someone goes to the restaurant, finishing the dinner, they pay the bill, and then through the POS system, the restaurant receives the payment. They got those payment goes directly into towards their revenues. While contrasting it with the healthcare, if you go to the chiropractor, especially in Canada, your treatment has been done, you are insured by your company, so there is an insurance company that which will pay your invoice. So my company pay for my invoice. The chiropractor will not receive the payment immediately, because then either it's a direct billing, or I have to apply manually, so that it will be reimbursed, or sometimes the chiropractor is applied manually. So this process sometimes takes from 2 days to 60 days to receive the money. So you see that the if you start comparing the monthly revenues and the trend from restaurant to healthcare business, it's completely different and nuanced. So that's also coming back to your point, is why are they all same? It's because the finance systems are not vertical enough today. They are for all SMBs, small and medium businesses.
Hmm.
Um, from trucking to restaurant to healthcare, these are all the similar questions. While what I wanted to do is to start with one vertical, make it the most streamlined and most easiest application process, and then go towards another one.
So with Lavora, you've got the streamlined process down. Now, if I'm a clinic owner and I'm wanting to borrow money, but I might want to like kind of shop around a little bit and understand, like, I got lender A versus lender B. Do I have to go through that process twice for each of these lenders, or is there a way to streamline that even further?
No, this is also something. One of our greatest value proposition is whenever a borrower is applied with one application, we will match them with multiple lenders. So me being again in the product area, I see this gap of development of tech, and especially through the AI. So today AI helped me to develop a platform where I will be able to match instantly the borrower applications with the multiple lenders, and in result the borrower will receive within 48 hours multiple offers of the lenders, and then now the borrower will choose to whom they want to work with. So they today what I see in this area is another interview I want to mention in here is uh, most of the it's not even actually one interview, but actually many of the interviews I found one common criteria. Healthcare clinics, they are more focused on providing best services to their patient. They don't have time to go to multiple banks, so once they get a rejection or an offer from one bank or lender, they don't do the same process to other. It's too lengthy, it's too so. And I would say that if I'm the person who is looking at this information, and if I also understand that what are the different uh, lenders credit boxes, then I will match the borrower application with the right credit box. And just doing this at a tech platform, I will be able to provide them multiple offers. So yes, this is the second thing. The time is extremely critical for the healthcare businesses, and in order to give them the best offer, I will give them multiple offers.
And from from a product standpoint, so your value prop to the lenders is, I'm going to give you exposure to these clinics that are wanting to borrow money from you, and then obviously the clinics, as you said, if they go through the process once, they're like, I'm not doing it again. I got rejected. It's just too much stuff. So it gives them a kind of a one-stop shop. I can fill it out once and I get an application to multiple lenders. Is there anything around like, when designing a product like this around fairness? So for instance, do you submit the application to all lenders, or does the system pick? Do you have, are there any regulations around this that might require you to, auditability to know, yes, I gave the exact same information to all five lenders? Is there anything around that?
Yeah, there's something. There are so many surprises that, when I started digging in in the financial world and the healthcare world. So much transparency problem and selling data. So when personally I was looking at the other companies who are providing the similar concept. So it's a funny example. So just wanted to understand how their application process works. I wanted to give information about my company whatsoever, and at that time Livora was not incorporated. So in order to fill the application, I googled a restaurant in Houston. I took the
Hmm.
email address and the phone number of that restaurant, and just a fake application. I applied through this information, and when I clicked the button to submit it, I got a message that soon our lenders are going to call you to understand what are your demand. And then I was so upset is because unfortunately this restaurant that I just googled, and they are going to start having those calls that we never filled up that form. How are we? So yeah, I sent an apological email that I'm so sorry, I will not do this. But I had no idea that this is what happened next. That the lender
Wow.
will start calling them, and then I start looking at the trust pilots, and that this is the apart from the rejection, the number one problem of the borrowers are having is those spam calls from all around the world, who got people got their personal information, their revenue, and then they start selling products and everything. So this is again one thing that we started from the beginning, is that we will not reveal the clinic data until the clinic approved to work with the certain lenders. So
Hmm.
what does it mean is that whenever I'm sharing the information of the clinic to multiple lenders, I'm hiding the name, the exact location, the doctor name. What I'm sharing is the broad ask, the broad revenues, how many times, numbers of years in the clinic, what is the ask of loan or revenue based funding, and then those broad information I share with the lenders. What it helps lenders to assess that if it is something that they want to work with, if they want to move forward, they send a soft code. And when the borrower receive the soft code from those numbers and accept one code, this is when they start working with the lender and start sharing their information. And
Hmm.
one more thing, at Libora, we have our very clear terms and conditions that none of our lenders will use the borrower information as their marketing strategy. So this is
Hmm.
something that we sign upfront. So we never sell data. We never disclose clinics information to the parties who are not related to this. And we want to make sure until the end of time when we have the information that it will be safe with us.
Wow. So it's kind of a two-step process. So there's like an anonymous step where you've anonymized the borrower to the lender, and you're just giving them pertinent information. Here's the revenue. Here's whatever should make a decision whether I want to let somebody borrow money or not. Just that relevant information, and then they give you back kind of as you said, it was like a soft acceptance code or something. Is that the idea? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, soft acceptance, soft offer through the platform, borrower receive. I have 3 offers. I want to work with this guy. The one thing I would say that the lender's information is transparent to the borrower. So while
Hmm.
I'm hiding the borrower information, I'm making it crystal clear that which lender they are interested in. So they see what it helps to borrower is to do a little bit of Google search or Chat GPT if that they really want to work with this lender and the so yeah, so being transparent from the lender sides also give them better area to take a decision, because what I found is without knowing your lender and their reputation, it's also risky. So yes, I work with all the legitimate lenders, but also I disclose all the information about the lender and give the full authority to the borrower that it's up to you. You want to work with this or not.
Wow. And I can imagine if you're, that kind of anonymized phase of the exchange, that kind of could also help eliminate any sort of biases that might creep up in the lending process. People's names might turn someone off or whatever. That's cool. Did you get any pushback from the lenders on that idea?
Um, yes, of course.
I figured. I mean, that was a softball question. Of course I did, no?
Of course I did.
Mhm.
Yeah, so if I am looking at from the lender's perspective, you see that today lenders have a lot of traffic from the broker side. Brokers, they send X number of applications. Most of them are not qualified, and we are just wasting of time of lenders, their employees, and then assessing. So yes, I had a pushback from lenders because they don't want a similar experience with Livora. So on that side, what I had to convince them is that each and every clinic is pre-screened, and this is what we guarantee, that whatever information you are receiving from our platform, they are the real running clinic, and those information are already verified by the platform. So they have this clear green signal that yes, these are the good clinics to fund. So
Nice.
yes, I had the pushback from them because of their experiences with the other brokers. But on the other hand, all they want to do is to help the other clinic. They want to grow. They want the clinic to grow, and then they say it's a win-win condition. We are not releasing funding. We are just giving a soft code. So once they give a soft code and they started working together, it sometimes happens that it doesn't work out. So I said, okay, it doesn't work out with this lender. That's fine. Let's see the other one what they say. So yeah, in this process we do have some pushback because the industry is not. This is not something that they used to. But I
Mhm.
would say this is the future where we're going.
So you do a pre-screening step, which I love that idea. So this means like people couldn't just like, I don't know, like look up a restaurant in Dallas, Texas or something and give them their information.
I don't know. Yeah, so I'm so sorry for the restaurant who
I'm just
started receiving.
I'm just kidding. That's funny. All right. So okay, some people might be thinking, okay, you're developing a product and you're wanting to go to market with this. Healthcare seems like this is a big, like, that's a big mountain to climb, right? Healthcare, there's a lot of regulations and a lot of, people are very particular about when it comes to healthcare. Why did you choose healthcare first? Why did you pick that one?
So my first few experiences was with the healthcare. So my massagist, my dentist, and so this is where I started. And then there were three factors I would say to choosing that. Yes, this is the healthcare that I want to work on. The number one is that. Uh, it's healthcare clinics, but in reality, it's a service that provides all the human to be on the better health. So this is one human factor. I know that in 20 years, maybe I will need a regular checkup of everything. So if we grow this part regular in 20 years, I will be the number one beneficiary. So yeah, so and we are living in a world where we are living longer than before, and so
Mm,
healthcare is going to be a critical part for in our life. This is the number one question, reason that I started. Second is I was always debating between restaurant and healthcare businesses, that why restaurant is also second best thing that I would love to work with. Because my father, he runs a restaurant, and I know that he also had problems in that case. But the reason why I did is the lender's perspective. Healthcare clinics, most of the time they have very good margins, but because of their insurance cycle and revenue cycle, it becomes complicated for them to understand what's going on. And even though they're having a growth period, they're unable to assess. So I would say that It's going to be more difficult, but I would say if I'll be able to solve this problem, the restaurant would be easier. So starting with the healthcare, maybe my next is going to be the restaurant. And the third most reason is related to the first one is 65% of the healthcare clinics are privatized. So it's when without doing the research on how many clinic exist and how much are prioritized and how much are public, it was unknown to see that these are the people like you and me who are running those clinic. These are not big hospitals. That the first thing comes in our mind. Those are the people like us who wants to grow in their career. They want to grow the healthcare profession, and this is their investing. So I would say that the third thing is the looking at those numbers, that how many percentage of the clinics exist in private and how much of them had been neglected. So summarizing the 3 points is the population which might need more and more healthcare. It's a growing sector. Second is it's a particular sector because of the revenue cycle, and third is the private sectors exist in this area where it seems to be a more public domain, but it's more and more private than public, and so helping the sector.
Well, I sure hope people wouldn't be coming to me for dental help. That's for sure. I've been doing cloud computing so long. I would be like, those teeth don't look great. Let's throw them away. Get you all new teeth every single time. That's what we would do. Yeah. But that makes sense though. You're starting with the complex problem, so you're kind of ironing out all the wrinkles and all of the hard stuff, whereas other domains might be a little easier. But the plan for Lavora is to expand and support other verticals along the way as you go, right?
Absolutely. So, what I've seen is that in the small and medium businesses, while they have different nuances of the revenue cycle, most of the time the business has the similar kind of documents they need to provide, like um, profit and loss statements, revenue statement, growth, etc. So, there are similarities. So, while what I see outside of what I am doing, what the other banks and platform are doing, they're starting with the small and medium businesses. And as there are similarities, they have this general application. While I'm doing it in the other way around, mastering in the one vertical, understanding how healthcare works, building the trust in this area, and then going towards slowly to the other area. So my ambition in next 10 years, maybe I will be the small and medium businesses, but I will be going only when I will be mastering one domain at a time.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so in your bio, you mentioned the idea of AI is not just a co-pilot for you. It's almost like your co-founder. Tell me about your experience with using AI to kind of to create a whole new company from scratch. How has that worked for you? Has it been, obviously it's been beneficial, but tell us about your experience there.
So the AI, I would say that when I was an employee of a company, I would say I had access to ChatGPT, little bit of other AI, but I was not understanding the full potential of AI. Once I started this entrepreneurship, I'm just looking at not from a tool perspective, but from the mindset perspective, is which area it can help me. So I'm giving one example. Being a product designer, whenever we understand the user problem, we try to translate it into a solution through wireframes.
Hmm.
And I understood the problem. I wrote it down, a workflow, and then I started generating the wireframes. It took me 4 to 5 hours to create the wireframes for the application process. And at that point, I say there must be a better way. And then I said, okay, let's see if there's an AI or something. And then I start looking at AI. It took me like 4 to 5 hours to find the best product for this. But when I found the best product for this, the AI generated the wireframes in 70 seconds, better than what I have done in 5 hours.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So this AI is the way I'm using AI is like it's hard to define in one domain. It's not about vibe coding, it's not about image generation, but it's more about how you can get the help from the different areas. So and that's why I would say that today it's not my co-pilot, it's my co-founder who's working with me all the time.
And that's fantastic. I do see that this is going to be one of those things that like we almost have to retrain our brains, like what you just said. Things that used to be we designed all of our processes and how we work and all of that around some of these things that might be cost prohibitive. So for instance, for you, a mock-up, you might say, "Oh, I can only do one or two because that's going to take me, 8 to 10 hours to do two of them." Whereas now, you might be able to try 20 different mock-ups if they only take you 70 seconds. You know what I mean? Like we used to design and kind of make trade-offs based on the cost prohibitiveness of these activities that we used to do that now are just so much faster. I think that's the thing that I don't think we framed our brains around yet, that it's just unlocking so many different workflows and different ways of working. I don't think most of the people have kind of made that mindset shift, kind of like you're talking about now.
Yeah, and this is where I would say this is the great potential that we can think and we can do things out of the box.
Hmm.
So, again, I'm giving you another example. Today, I nearly stopped typing because I see that when I type, it takes me more time, and I'm typing a lot today in the whole day for 10, 15
Hmm.
hours. I started the voice recognition AI, I'm just speaking and then it's doing this, and I'm just, being efficient more and more, using different tool for different tasks, is because there's no way that AI is replacing me. I'm the one who's giving all the commands and what to do, where to go. But in this broad spectrum of what we can do with the AI, it had never been possible until now. And there's one more thing I want to add here is I read somewhere that today is going to be the worst AI I will ever use. So
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. And
doing this AI today, we must move forward with this to get better and better in this area.
yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely that's pretty interesting because it's pretty good right now. So yeah, as you can imagine, going forward, it's going to be better and better. So when it comes to you're using AI to kind of design the product and understand and kind of visualize and conceptualize what is this product that we're going to build and how is it going to work. But when it comes to just actually building the actual software, what yeah, I'm sure you're leveraging AI for that, but what are you seeing? What is your process for actually sitting down and generating the actual software?
So, on my side, being a designer, I know how to build the workflow, how to do the product management, mock-ups. But as you said, when there's a time to build AI, my first go-to was vibe coding. But there is also, I had been a bit skeptical of should I do it, like, give it a prompt, the code would be generated. Instead of going to that direction, I started working with the students who are the third year of or fourth year of the software development schools.
Hmm.
And when I started working with them to develop my platform, the number one thing which blew my mind was how they are making it as a default criteria of their environment of development. AI. The AI is by default. They are just using it. And the timeline that they gave me is like in 60 hours or for 2 weeks of work, we would be able to generate what we could have done in 4 months.
Wow.
So those are the expert of the software development, and they are using those AI to make it extremely efficient for them to develop. So this is also something that I'm extremely surprised to see, that how fast things are going. If we will be building it the way it should be, with the solid foundation, with the expert mindset behind it, the developers, but with the new technology of the AI, I would say nothing can stop us. I'm so excited with the world that what's going to be in next few years. If everything all the small problems can be solved in this way, then I see nothing but a bright future.
Yeah. I think again, it's back to that kind of the cost prohibitive thing. Like in the past, some of those really big problems, right? We always thought, well, it's just going to take so much to solve the big problem. The calculus has changed again. I mean, those things are much more approachable. Those mountains are going to be easier to climb, right? So I think again, we're going to have to reframe our brains and understand we can do bigger things now. We don't have to settle for the smaller things. We can actually tackle these really big problems because we have assistance. So
Yeah.
That's going to be, it's going to be fascinating. The next 5 years, I think is going to be, as you're saying, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see some really cool stuff happen. So I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah. There's one last thing I want to add
Sure.
here is that the new generation, they are starting with the AI,
Mm,
while we are the one who are incorporating AI in our daily workflow and then trying to see how AI can solve the problem. While this generation, they're starting that this is the way it is. Let's start working with this. So another kind of the mindset that I see and exciting to see this new generation, that how everything started with them, while we are still looking at how can we leverage AI. They're
mhm.
already in it.
Right. Yeah. It's not even, they don't have to think about it. They're already doing it. Yeah. I think that's going to be a refreshing change for our industry, is having a lot of this new talent coming in that kind of, they grew up in that world of like with AI assistance. So that's what they know. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to hear and learn from the younger folks about, since they grew up and that's all they know, how can we change our workflows, right? The people who are like, older people like me, who we did it the old way for so long, and now we're having to try to relearn. I think that's going to be a fun transition for us for sure.
Yeah.
If we're willing to listen, us old people don't like to listen to the young people, but I
That's
think we
true
can
as
learn a
well.
lot. That's why we,
Yeah.
need fresh talent in
Yeah.
the talent pool for sure. Okay. Well, this has been great, learning all about Libora. Next segment in our show is what we call Ship It or Skip It.
Ship or skip. Everybody, we gotta tell us if you ship or skip.
We've talked a little bit about some of this stuff. One of the things that I think you have an interesting perspective on is this whole idea of creating a startup, creating a new company from scratch. But a lot of people have to choose between, do I take the plunge and just quit my job and go start a new company, or do I kind of build and tinker in the evenings and get this thing to a point? What's your take on that? Are you a quit your day job and just jump all in, or what would you recommend in that situation?
You know what? For me, it's a skip it thing.
Hmm.
This is not the way I did, but this is not what I recommend. I quit my job and then I started working full time and for my company. But I would say that if we can continue working with our job while started looking at the entrepreneurship as what is the potential in this area, am I really solving a problem, what are the revenue models, so until we have proof of concept of our company, I would say it's not a bad idea to continue working for your full job, because you can continue pivoting on your idea, your solution, or maybe you have the problem is always there, but maybe you want to tackle it in a different way while keeping your job. So yeah, I would say keeping your job until you say that yes, that's it, and then it would be a better idea than just go all on from day one.
Yeah, I think again, it's, back to that whole idea of like, we're going to have to reframe our brain, because in the past, in order to be able to put the kind of attention and energy into a new endeavor like that, you probably needed full-time hours, right? You needed to do that. But again, with AI, you can get a lot done in the evenings, a lot more than we used to. So you can move things forward while still keeping that day job and being able to pay your bills. That's a good thing. So, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So this AI allows us to squeeze hundreds of hours of work in a few hours of work. So why do we have to quit our job?
What about trying to keep up? I know it's difficult in the modern age with AI and everything, but like, trying to stay fresh with all of the new technologies and everything. Is that something you recommend, that folks try to stay bleeding edge at all times, or where's your stance on that? Do you just kind of learn a certain level and then stick with that and go, or where are you at on that?
I would say it's at 100% ship it. Like there is no choice today.
Mm.
We are doing it. It's like you want to have the enough literacy to do your work. You have no option. You have to learn AI. And the founders, especially in this area, they need to reskill and update their mental models as quickly, as efficiently now as never before. The one of the reason is because if I'm talking through a founder's perspective, you always have a better way to do that. You cannot stick with one thing and then you just continue doing it in the same way. So giving you a recent example, I wanted to work on a LinkedIn post, and so I've got my data from an article that I was reading in this online newspaper, but I had to recheck the citation, the quotations, etc. So I started going back to the what are the resources, what are the actual statistics. So I applied, I create GPTs that whenever I insert you a certain data, please verify it for me. And so
Mm.
now what I came to know is that you just cannot rely on one thing. You have to keep developing your skill in a different areas. So maybe I'm going towards a broader understanding of the AI, but giving you those small points that AI can help you do a better research, write a better LinkedIn post, understanding better your clients by doing a pre-research of what kind of sector it is, what are their pain points. Yes, AI might not be able to replace the empathy you're developing with your users, my one-on-one interviews and what I'm understanding from their real life, but everything else, if you're not leveraging AI, you are missing something.
No, I agree. I think you have to kind of stay current. It definitely can be the advice I give people, especially around AI, is don't get caught up in too much of the hype as you go. Kind of pick a topic, pick a tool, pick something, and learn about it, kind of deeply, and stick with that. Because if you're reading all the headlines and all the different things, like, oh my goodness, I need to go pay attention to that, and you can't really get a deep level of knowledge about anything, because you're going to get this like buyer's remorse almost, right? Because there's just so much going on, so much change in the industry right now. And so I've told people you kind of have to like look around, pick a topic. I want to learn more about that, and then kind of spend a couple weeks and stick with it. Because if you're looking on X or Twitter or reading any sort of newsletters or anything, there's always going to be some new thing, new technology. Okay, just unsubscribe for a couple weeks at least, and dig into something and really get a hold of it, because it's just so hard to stay focused now with all these new topics coming out. Again, it feels
Yeah.
like it's like buyer's remorse. Oh, I learned Chat GPT. Let me dig into Chat GPT. Well, wait a minute, there's this Claude thing. Wait a minute, there's this other thing, and you just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough.
I completely agree. In here, there's so much distraction of AI going on. Or why should you be using ChatGPT versus Perplexity versus Claude?
Mm,
And then you start wasting your time in assessing what is the best tool. How I try to get away from this hype is I'll start with my problem.
mm,
The mock-up example that which helped me to create mock-up in 70 seconds, I knew that I'm spending 4 hours in something. There must be a better way. So when you start with one topic and you start in going deep, that how can I make it more efficient than AI, it's better than you're looking at multiple AI and you see how they can be efficient for you.
mhm. Yeah. All right. So you mentioned it earlier. This has been a hot topic this year. Vibe coding. Is this something you recommend to people? Is this a ship it or is this a skip it?
I would say ship it with some kind of thinking behind it.
Yeah.
So recently, I read an article from Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, is that there's always a solid foundation that the software developers had been creating for multiple years. And the vibe coding, while it's giving you an attractive AI, a good working prototype, or a good proof of concept that how far you can go, it's still hard to believe that you can create a solid foundation of a product which might be able to solve billion people problems.
Mm,
So those technical foundation, can it be solved through vibe coding? I'm not sure, but what I'm sure is that if you have a concept, you can certainly use the vibe coding, create it a mock-up or a working prototype, go test in the market how much potential it is, and then go back and do working. So yes, vibe coding, but you cannot replicate a software engineer with the vibe coding today.
yeah. I think my experience has been, and I've done a little bit of research in this area for personal, just anecdotal, I guess, but like if I'm using generative AI to develop solutions using the technologies that I'm not as familiar with, I definitely think that the product doesn't move forward as well. It usually doesn't end up being as good of an outcome or an output than as if it's a technology stack, for instance, that I know very, very well, like if I'm with Java and Spring Boot. It's going to be rock solid. It's going to be a great product as I'm developing it. But if I'm using something, if I was going to do a product in Go, for instance, it probably wouldn't end up as well. And I did do this with iOS. I put together a iPad app at one point, and I've never written any Swift code in my life, but it was definitely it was a longer road to go, right? That it took me a lot longer to get there. And the product's okay, but I think if I was writing something that was a little more familiar to me, I think the product would be a little more polished, I think. So that leads me to believe that, yes, I think there's some level of expertise that needs to be involved. As you said, maybe you can write the little toy apps, sure, but you're not solving the billion-person problems with vibe coding. So I'm with you on that. Mm-hmm. I think it's helpful for learning. It did help me out learn about iOS for sure.
Yeah. For even I used vibe coding to create a page on my website. So giving you one example that one clinic I was speaking to, and I wanted them to understand how the financing would work if they enter their revenues, the pharmacy acquisition, for example, details. So with the vibe coding, I was able to create a calculator, and then they can enter, and then they can see if they can go. So yeah, it helped me to create a calculator adapted to their problem quickly. But when it comes to, okay, now I have to use this calculator for the underwriting process, I had to go back to my software developer that, hey, you know what, I have this concept, and how can I make it, using Python or JavaScript, it would be integrated in the platform, and then there will be an easy access to the lender. So yeah, all those things, and also the security. I cannot make it a secured website or something just with the vibe code. So many things you can do and you cannot do, I believe, in today with vibe coding.
Yeah, I think my kind of rule of thumb is if I'm going to charge people money for the thing, like I'm not going to vibe code that completely, right? Like, but if it's for a demo or something that I'm not going to maintain long term, what do I care? I mean, if it works, it works. I don't the code quality, whatever, right? If I'm not going to have to come back to it and edit and maintain it, then it doesn't matter to me. So,
yeah,
I'm with you. Okay, another topic for ship it or skip it. This has been a big trend lately, and I was just curious your take on this. Where are you at on the whole 6-7 thing? Where are you at on that one?
You know what I would say, in North America, there are top 3 things that we had this year, from tariff to the AI and the 6-7.
6-7, yeah. So are you a ship it? Are you cool with the 6-7 thing? Or are you like, we're done with this, let's ship it? Skip it, let's be done with it.
I don't want to go forward in 2026 with the 6-7. It just came from, I wouldn't say nowhere, but oh my God, from 4 years old to 18 years old. I don't know. They're like, I would say sometimes people are more excited with 6-7 than AI.
Maybe it's a symptom of AI fatigue more than it is like the I don't know, relevance of this whole 6-7 thing. Like it's just silly. And this thing, I don't know how this thing is held on for as long as it has. It's not funny, really. I mean, it's goofy, and I don't know how it has had the legs that it has so far. Maybe it's, as you said, maybe it's AI fatigue. We just need something else to talk about.
Yeah, maybe that, and there is no AI, I believe, creating the 6-7.
No, they're too smart for that. Maybe that's just us silly people, silly human beings. Okay, all right. That's it for the ship it or skip it. The next section of the show, if you're familiar with the show, is what we call the lightning round. And if you're familiar with the show, you know that the lightning round is the most important part of the show. This is where, we've had all the silly conversation, the warm up. This is the real meat of the show that everybody tunes in for. So, we're going to ask you some questions and you're going to provide answers. And there are correct answers and there are not correct answers. We have a scoring algorithm that we use. It's a proprietary scoring algorithm. It takes a few weeks to get the results back, but we'll share them with you. So if you're curious how you did, we'll let you know. But I don't know how it works, but it's some sort of, it's probably artificial intelligence or something fancy like that. I don't know. We just have a whole crew for that here at the forward slash. But I just want to make sure we tell you about how important this is so that you can prepare yourself. Do you feel that you're mentally prepared for the lightning round, Sharmeen?
I'm excited.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. That's good. All right. Are you a person who would rather receive a text or a phone call from someone? Are you a texting or a talking kind of person?
Text.
Text?
I'm more of a text person, yes.
I started off like that. I started off with like talking because I'm, older guy. And I would say, my kids are like, I text you. No, don't text me. Just call me. But now I don't want to talk to people anymore. I'm like, just text me. But yeah, I'm more of a text guy myself these days.
Why would I say text is that I use a lot of WhatsApp, and when I get calls or long audio message, I said, you know what, just text me.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
it's easier to remember too, right? So if you call me and say, hey, go do this thing, well, now I have to commit that to memory. But if I have a text, it's written down and I can refer back to it, and that helps as well. I think that's for busy lives like we have. Okay, what is your favorite junk food?
Okay, my junk food. The best fried chicken in the world is the best food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fried chicken. That's a good answer. And I live in Kentucky, in Ohio, in the United States. So Kentucky fried chicken is the best in the world. I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh my God, I haven't been to do you refer the KFC or the Kentucky chicken?
Well, so I mean,
Kentucky?
now everybody calls it just KFC, I think, but it was Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's where it comes from. So, but I do live in Kentucky, so we're very serious about our fried chicken here.
Okay.
All right. What was your favorite childhood television show?
Well, it was not my generation, but I loved it. It was I Dream of Jeannie.
That was a great show. That was a
great
fantastic show. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I was recently looking at the episodes, and I'm looking at the animation, and oh my God, we have been a long way. It's the Hollywood, everything that now today we are doing compared to 50, 60, 70 years before. It's so amazing how technology can be advanced, but I have great memories of this show.
I like that show. And there was one, what was it? My Favorite Martian. That was one of those old school shows that came on that I like. I like that one. That was fun. All right. Are you a Circus Peanuts type of person when it comes to candy, or are you a Sour Patch Kids?
Oh, I'm a circus. I'm candy guy girl. No, I'm just when I was a kid, I say, why my mother does not give me a plate of Snickers and chocolates? Why do we have to eat a normal dinner? When I'll grow up, I'll give a whole big plate of chocolates and candies.
So is that what you eat primarily now? Is just mainly chocolates? Did that dream come true?
Well, you know what? When you grow up, it never came true. But
I know, it just seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm stricter than my mom in terms of candies. But yeah, it's still my dream. If there's a heaven, I will go to this. The Charlie and Chocolate Factory. That would be my heaven.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Do you like the smell of gasoline?
I do actually.
I do too. That's a thing. I guess that's a thing. Some people do. I do too.
It's subtle. It's good. You like nice.
I don't know why I like it, but I do.
Yeah, I like it too.
I don't think I would wear it as a cologne or anything, but I do. I did like the smell of gasoline.
Going to the gas station with gasoline smell and going there without, I would say going with the smell.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Are you a person who does the phone has to eat first? Do you Instagram your food before you eat it? Like when you sit down and they bring your food to you, you have to take a picture. Are you one of those people?
No, I think no. Sometimes I feel like I'm quite outdated because so many people, the first thing they do is taking a photo, and I'm just so excited to eat what's in my front and not thinking about the. I think, by the way, afterwards, that that was so good. I should have shared it with my friend what I ate, but it's too late now. It doesn't seem anything like so. No, I'm not that kind of person.
I'm not a big take a picture of my food. I like to eat, so I'm ready to go. When it gets to the table, I don't have time for that, right? Are you a dark chocolate or a milk chocolate type of a person?
Dark chocolate.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. I think this is also, I grew up in multiple countries. So the longest part of my life I spent in France, in Europe, and small espresso with dark chocolate is, I think, something I'm gonna continue my life with. So yeah, dark chocolate.
I was trying to remember what it was. There's the type of chocolate my daughter wanted the other day, and I was like, it's from the Middle East or something. I don't know, but it was. She's like, "Oh, I want this chocolate." I'm like, "Okay, I'll pick it up when I see it at the store." It was like $15 for a bar of chocolate. I don't remember what it was called, but I'll have to. I don't know. But it was crazy. I'm like, $15 for chocolate? I haven't tried it yet, but I'm definitely going to get a bite of this. If I'm going to spend $15 on it, I'm definitely going to get a bite of this.
Yeah, you should. It might be different from Hershey's, but let's see how it should be different from Hershey's.
Yeah,
Sorry. How
what
do you
was it?
pronounce it?
Is it Dubai? Was it Dubai? Is that right?
Yeah,
Dubai
maybe
chocolate?
something. It's a new trend, I think, Dubai
It
chocolate.
is. It's Dubai. That's what it was. And it came from
Yeah.
like Lint. They have the Dubai chocolate. I don't know why that's so good, but I mean, hey, the people in Dubai, they got a lot of money, so maybe they can afford really fancy, good chocolate. I don't know.
You know, the funny trend in this chocolate is that I grew up in Middle East as well, and during my childhood in Dubai and Saudi Arabia, try to bring American products, and the way Americans live their life was their norm. That this is how they were doing. So everything was inspired with this North America. And now I think after so many years, the trend is shifting. Now they're bringing their, the chocolate which had been European or American in Chile. Now they rebranded with Dubai, and now they're exporting
Mm-hmm.
the concept to North America. So yeah, it's a funny cycle you see here.
We're flipping back and forth.
Yeah.
All right. Would you ever go to a movie alone?
Yes, I would. I saw Wonder Woman all by myself because nobody was there, and I was so happy because I came out like, yes, that was the movie I think I should have been seen all around. And then, yeah, I can go if I really want to go all by myself.
Now, this wasn't the Wonder Woman 84 thing, was it? I did not
Not
like that.
anymore.
Oh, that
No,
was just
that
so
was
bad.
that was so disappointing because I really liked the first one, and the second one I said, no, that's not true.
Yeah, my kids, like, so that came out on like Christmas or whatever. I went, like, we didn't have HBO Max at the time. I went and I bought HBO Max, and I was talking about this for weeks. I'm like, we're going to watch Wonder Woman on Christmas Day. It's going to be great. And I made the whole family sit down, and we're sitting there watching this thing, and I was so embarrassed. I'm like, this is awful. And they make fun of me to this day. How about we watch Wonder Woman 84, Dad? I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. It was awful. It was awful. I hated that.
Yeah, I had been waiting for the part 2 of that, and this is said, yeah, and since then, no DC movies for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was it like was it the the bad guy the bad guy grants wishes. Like, how is that a bad guy? Like, come on. All right. One last final question for the lightning round. Let's see. I got to pick a really good one. When eating a formal meal with multiple forks, do you start from the outside and work your way in with the forks? Like, you grab the one farthest away from you, or do you work your way from the inside out?
You know what? It reminds me a scene of Titanic. I think this is where I learned how it should be. So I saw Leonardo DiCaprio when he was criticized. He does not know what to do. There's somebody said that, you know what, you go outside to inside, the smaller to the larger, and say, oh, that's how it works. So yeah,
I always mess it up.
yeah,
I
I
always mess it
think
up.
so. I think so. This is it's from outside to inside.
I don't think I eat fancy dinners enough to have to commit it to memory. So every time I get to one of those places where they have multiple forks, and like I said, I'm a Kentucky Fried Chicken kind of guy, right? You don't need multiple forks for Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? But like, yeah, every time I sit down, I'm like, okay, Which way is it again? I'm going to have to watch Titanic. Maybe that'll help me because I'm a movie guy. Maybe that'll help me. So, all right.
You know, just take a GIF or a screenshot and you're done. You know
Put it in my
how it
phone.
works.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then I can just look it up on my phone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been great. We've been learned a lot about, human-centered design, uncovering the true systemic problems of software products, AI, how it lowers the barrier of entrepreneurship. I love that. Any actionable takeaways from you? Anything you'd like to share with folks? Anything you have coming up? Anything big coming up from Labora? Anything like that?
Yeah, so I'm working on a very exciting project. So I see that there are so many clinics who are not sure if they're ready to commit for a loan or something. So with my software developer students, we are building a borrower readiness portal, which will be launched on January 10th of 2026, where a borrower can see that how ready they are to apply for a loan. For example, if they have all the documents, if they have this right criterias, and we will assess them with a score. And if the score is low, we will also give them all the templates that how can they use those templates to create their P&L document, or if they want to improve their revenues, what are the 5 key things for MedSpa which works. So I'm using all my design thinking and work design expertise with the understanding I had so far working with the lenders and the clinics to create this portal. And I believe that once it's going to be built, it will help all the clinic to see where they want to grow, and if they want to apply for additional finances, what are the things they need to have with this. So this is one thing that I'm extremely excited, and looking forward to launch it on January 10th.
January 10th. All right, great. And that's Lyvora is LYYVORA.com, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
LYYVORA.com. So if you want to check it out and learn more about that, that's January 10th, though. You're not going to be able to see it until January 10th. Well, this has been great. Thank you again so much for joining us here on the /. I really appreciated the conversation. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, James. It was a huge pleasure speaking with you. And let's stay in touch.
Absolutely, for sure. If you'd like to get in touch with us here at the /, drop us a line at the/@caliberty.com. See you next time. The / podcast is created by Caliberty. The / team is director and producer Ryan Wilson, editing by Steve Baradelli, marketing support by Taylor Blessing, and I'm your host, James Carman. Thanks for listening.